Alright, hey guys, Luxer99 here, coming at you with another review. Today I am reviewing Raw for August 18, 2014. The city was in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the commentators were as usual, Michael Cole, JBL, and Jerry the King Lawler. They actually did an okay job tonight. They weren't as bad as usual, so I'm glad they did, somewhat decent tonight. And we started off the show with an awesome SummerSlam recap, which I thought was a great pay-per-view. And then we kick off the show with Daniel Bryan. Yes, yes, yes. Just kidding. It was Stephanie McMahon. Which by the way, the new graphics in the logo actually look really cool. I like of how they're kind of changing up the whole Raw setup. So Stephanie talks about SummerSlam, and then Nikki Bella comes out. She explains her act of betrayal, blames it on Brie. Brie eventually comes out and tries to talk to Nikki. Nikki hits her with a huge slap, and then Brie walks away crying. And you know what? I may be the only one, but I actually enjoyed this segment, and so far I am enjoying this feud. Not just between Nikki and Brie, but also between Brie and the Authority. I just think it's a good feud so far. Nikki's mic work was actually acceptable tonight, and I think this feud is believable, and it's going to be good. Nikki's already over as a heel already, and Stephanie was just as awesome as always, so it was a good start to Raw for me. Next we have our first match of the night, Luke Harper and Erick Rowan versus Mark Henry and The Big Show. This was a rematch from SmackDown, and I'll just never get over of how incredible the Wyatt's entrance is with all of the cameras. All the flashlights waving back and forth. I think that's just so cool. And now there's a German announce team at ringside, so that's pretty cool. We saw them, I think it was at SummerSlam, was the first time we saw them, and now they're at ringside during Raw, which I hope they keep it like that, because I actually think it's really cool. So Henry starts off with Erick Rowan, boot to Harper, and then Show starts in a huge slam. Show then starts clearing house as we go into commercial break. We come back as Harper hits a massive dropkick and sends Big Show to the outside. That was a pretty cool spot. Wyatt's dominate for a little bit. Harper hits a super kick for 2. Rowan hits a huge slam to Big Show, which I thought was a pretty cool moment. Big Show eventually hits a DDT and makes the tag. Henry comes in, house on fire, went for the world's strongest slam. Harper hits a big boot to Rowan, and then Rowan hits a cross body to counter it. Wyatt's then go for a double team. Show knocks out both of them, and Henry hits a slam for the win. The world's strongest slam, of course. It was a standard, but it was a solid tag team match. I'm a fan of both teams, and hopefully they can rejuvenate the tag team division. So next we see Ric Flair, woo, with Dolph Ziggler, the new Intercontinental Champion, backstage. Miz interrupts and says that Dolph is going to lose that title tonight. Then we have the Lumberjack match recapped, which was a fantastic matchup at SummerSlam. Renee then interviews Rollins, and then Ambrose dumps the ice water on him for the ALS ice bucket challenge, which I thought was a cool way to just continue the feud. That was weird. Just a cool way to just to continue the feud as they start fighting, and words just can't express of how talented these two are and of how good this feud has been so far as well. Triple H, Kane, and Rollins talk backstage of how they're going to get rid of Ambrose. And up next was Natalya versus Paige. And Paige is just much better as a heel than she is as a face, and I'm glad that she is already a two-time champion this young. it just shows of how great her career is going to be. And of course the match at SummerSlam between AJ and Paige was just awesome, and it was just really cool. So right before the match, she says that she loves AJ and she dedicates the match to AJ. A good technical exchange at the start. Paige hits a nice super kick. AJ eventually comes out and starts skipping around the ring, and Natalya picks up the win. As much as I love this feud, I think they need to stop overusing the same finish of where someone comes out and distracts the other person. The other person gets rolled up and then gets beat. I just think they're kind of overkilling it a little bit. However, the match was good for what it was, and AJ had a good promo afterwards to continue the feud, which is pretty awesome of how this feud has been going on probably since the day after WrestleMania, so that's actually pretty cool. Then out comes Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie changed her outfit, just a little small thing I noticed. Triple H starts talking about SummerSlam again. I think the new championship looks awesome. It's kind of the same thing, just with the new logo, but it still looks pretty cool to me. And then out comes Brock. Heyman just cuts a epic, fantastic. You can pick all the best words to describe it. It was just an amazing promo. And then I just didn't think that Lesnar could be any more legit after his very convincing and solid win at SummerSlam, and Heyman just raises Lesnar to the next level with this promo, and now Lesnar looks like, which he already did, look like an absolute beast. He just looks completely unstoppable. But Heyman, just an amazing promo. You have to give that guy credit that he is one of the best on the mic. IC title match was up next, Ziggler versus Miz. Ziggler hits a nice hip toss for one right at the start, and then they have a nice technical exchange. Miz starts to work on the leg from last night, so I'm glad they were continuing that story. We go into commercial break as as we come back, Miz went for a shin breaker, and then Dolph countered it into a sunset flip. And then hits a backslide both for two. Ziggler then hits a huge DDT for two. Miz eventually gets the figure four locked in, as Ziggler gets to the ropes barely. Ziggler then hits a nice leg sweep on the apron to take down Miz. And then hits a super kick on the apron as Miz falls into the ring and Ziggler falls off the apron onto the floor. Ziggler gets counted out. It was a short match, but it told a good story and it continued the feud in kind of an interesting way of how Ziggler accidentally got counted out. So I think that's a good way to continue the feud. It was solid as it lasted, the match, and then Miz beats down Ziggler afterwards, and then Ziggler hits the zigzag to stand tall as the new Intercontinental Champion. Up next was Swagger versus Cesaro. Swagger had a good backstage promo, and I thought this was going to be an awesome match because these two have been having awesome matches. They have some good chemistry inside the ring. Cesaro hits a nice gut wrench at the beginning. He then dominates, focusing on the ribs. Swagger eventually hits a Swagger bomb. Cesaro hits a suplex onto the ropes. Hip toss in the corner. Cesaro then goes for a big boot on the apron, and Swagger catches him for the ankle lock. But Cesaro gets to the ropes. Swagger gets the ankle lock locked in again, and Cesaro gets to the ropes. Cesaro eventually hits the neutralizer for the win. I'm surprised Cesaro won, and it wasn't their best match, but it was still good. It wasn't terrible. And then out comes Bo with a pretty good promo. Hopefully these two feud, because now that Swagger is done with Zeb and Rusev, he needs a new direction to go to, and Bo has kind of been directionless ever since he lost to Truth, which I think was a major mistake made by WWE. And then Jericho has an awesome promo backstage. Up next was the six-man tag match. I was actually glad that this made sense because Reigns faced Orton at SummerSlam, of course. We saw RVD and Sheamus face Ryback at on main event for the tag team titles, along with the Usos. And then we also saw Sheamus face Orton on the last Raw, and Reigns faced Ryback on the last Raw. So this actually made perfect sense. So I was glad about that. Sheamus starts off by Axel, some back and forth action. Sheamus hits a rolling senton to Orton into the rolling thunder from Rob Van Dam. Sheamus, as we come back from commercial break, hits the 10 beats of the Bowder into Axel, then hits the 10 beats to Ryback. Orton down, pulls down to the top rope as a nice bump for Sheamus to take. Suplex into the timekeeper area. Heels dominate for a very long time, and Ryback was just over like crazy tonight. The fans were really loving Ryback. Reigns eventually comes in, house on fire. Orton hits a backbreaker from behind. RVD hits a crossbody, roll up for 2. Moonsault, like a split leg moonsault. Ryback breaks it up. Sheamus hits the Brogue on Ryback. Randy hits an RKO on Sheamus. Spear from Rowan Reigns to Randy Orton. Curtis Axel throws Roman Reigns into the steel post. Frog splash from Rob Van Dam for the win. Awesome 6-man tag match. Crowd was really into it. So was I. It was just a good match overall, and Orton then goes backstage with Ric Flair and tells him to stay out of his way. Wyatt then cuts a promo, which it's kind of a sign that they're continuing this Jericho feud. I kind of hope they don't, because the feud has kind of disappointed me so far, but if they do, I hope they can bring it back and capture my attention once again. Usos versus Goldust and Stardust. Jey Uso starts off with Goldust, good exchange at the start. Usos then work on the arm for the longest time. Stardust eventually gets in and starts to get dominated. Stardust tries to make the tag, hits a sunset flip for the win. Very boring. It seemed like they were just holding back, and the faces versus faces situation didn't really work out for this one. However, the Usos did look strong despite losing, and I hope if they create this feud here that it is a good feud and that they produce some solid matches unlike this one. Rusev then comes out. Lana cuts a promo. Henry eventually comes out. Henry cuts a very passionate promo on America. A brawl ensues between Henry and Rusev. Henry eventually hits the World's Strongest Slam, so Henry stands tall. But the only thing that was kind of confusing me, so is Henry going to stay with Big Show for the tag team and go for the tag team belts, or is he going to focus on Rusev? However, it was a good segment nonetheless. The main event was Dean Ambrose versus Rollins in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Considering of how awesome this match was, I didn't really take too many notes for it, because I just wanted to watch and enjoy this match because these guys are so talented. However, I'll just go over a couple of the major highlights. Rollins hits a huge powerbomb onto like 10 chairs, so that was really cool. Superplex through a table, huge kendo stick shots, huge steel chair shots, suplex on the stage, huge slam onto a chair. Kane eventually comes in, choke slams Ambrose on the announcer's table. Rollins hits a curb stomp on the announcer's table, and then the finish was Ambrose gets curb stomped onto cinder blocks. The cinder blocks actually broke. Like I said, it was just an awesome match. I could watch these two wrestle every Monday night, every Friday night, every Tuesday night on Main Event, every Thursday night on Superstars. I could just watch these two wrestle all day, every day, and it would still be entertaining. These two are just such great talents, and I really enjoyed this match. It was solid, and what I heard from like the rumors is that Ambrose is going to film a movie, so this is their way of writing him off of TV, which was effective. And then as he comes back, you could do like a surprise attack or something like that and continue the feud. But it was a solid matchup, and I really enjoyed it. Easily match of the night in the overall show. I thought it was a good Raw. It really was a solid Raw. It had everything. It followed up SummerSlam pretty good. It started some new feuds, continued some old ones. And it was just a solid Raw. It had some awesome matches. So that's going to be it for my review. Stay tuned for tomorrow for my main event review. Should be a pretty good one. And I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye!